Okay. I am Sarah Gulick. I am an eighth grader, and I have dyslexia. I attend St. Pius Catholic School.
And okay, so I want you to talk about your you have a new addition to your family right now. That's
Yeah.
pretty exciting. Do you want to share that to start?
Yeah. Right now we have a new puppy. Her name is Desi, and she's a little German Shepherd Husky mix. I might be able to bring her out at the end.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, if you can, that would be awesome to say hello. Why don't you start by talking about when you were first diagnosed with dyslexia?
I was diagnosed with dyslexia in second grade. The reason why I was tested was because I had a below grade level reading level, so I needed to be tested to make sure what was happening, what was wrong, and it turned out I have dyslexia. So, yeah,
What was that process like? Because you were young. I mean, second grade, it's
yeah,
not an easy time for a young student.
yeah. No, it wasn't. My mom took me in to do these series of really weird tests. We did like headphone thing, memory tests, all sorts of stuff like that. And it was really annoying for me. I was not very happy to be there,
Understandable.
but good things came from it because I understood what was happening and going on then. So yeah.
That's super important. Can you maybe talk about some of the struggles that you've had with dyslexia, or like maybe how it's presented as a challenge for you?
Well, the do you want me to give like an example or?
Yeah, that'd be great.
So in third grade, a little after diagnosed, I was starting to attend the special education classes. They weren't really going that great for me. I didn't. We were having a few flashcards of simple things, of sounding out words like is, was, and if, and that wasn't the way that my brain worked. I knew what those were. I just needed help, and it
Yeah.
was working for me very well. But so and another example of something that really bothered me was during reading time. We would have our books and we'd go into the different corners and read. I would have a chapter book on the outside, so I would seem smart and cool when I was flipping through a graphic novel on the inside.
That's brilliant though. Like, I mean, it's good and bad, right? Like the
Yeah,
creative spirit to be able to think of that uh idea. But it's sad that that's how you felt at the same time. Like that's a hard one. So definitely. But thank you for sharing that. I think I'm sure people online, parents and students alike, are going through that. So to kind of hear that's how
yeah.
you're dealing with challenges. What about do you use any accommodations or assisted technology in the classroom?
I used to use them much more in the past than I do now. I
Okay.
used to do speech to text, which is basically where you talk into a microphone and it shows up on the screen. There's sometimes editing mistakes, but it really works better so I can get my thoughts onto paper quickly and efficiently most of the time.
Yeah.
I also get to sit in the front if I need to be closer to the teacher and I can take notes easier. What I've written down.
Oh, nice.
Sorry.
No, take your time.
I get extended time when I need to.
Okay.
I get basically if I have an assignment or an essay or something that I need to do longer, I need more time to be able to complete it without making a whole bunch of slip ups. Then I can ask the teacher for more help.
That's good.
When the teacher is grading my essays and reports and stuff, they'll give me a free pass on spelling errors sometimes and grammar. I get to use Grammarly, which is basically um, you sorry you
No, you're
it spell checks basically everything on the paper
okay.
on the computer for you.
Is that like an app that you have on your phone, or is that a
Yeah, I mean Google includes it. You can just
okay?
off the like Google programs and stuff, and so yeah, I use that. And I used to get a free pass on handwriting. My handwriting wasn't and still isn't the highest of quality. So if I like had weird handwriting, they would give me a pass or they'd talk to me about it. My paper just went flying.
Oh, well, if you need it, feel free to get up and grab it. No worries, though.
So, sorry.
Yeah, no, you're fine. So if you're on the line, please drop us a question. We're with the International Dyslexia Association Oregon branch, talking to Sierra, who's telling us about her journey through dyslexia, and we're here to help answer questions that you might have. And and you were talking about Grammarly, and then your handwriting has been a challenge.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
and that's something I can relate to too. My handwriting is not great. It's pretty illegible if somebody was trying to read it. So I can relate to that challenge for sure.
Yeah.
What? Oh, go ahead.
If sorry, I just thought of it real quick. Another example of something that I struggled with was in second grade they had us take basically placing quizzes and tests, which they're little bubbles and I'd fill them out differently and like patterns and stuff according to my mom because I couldn't read the questions. So that's
So you were you making designs with them, or were you?
I don't know exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, but I might have. Who knows? So that's another example of something.
Yeah, and I remember those bubbles are challenging because you had to line them up between what the question was and making sure the right, which
Yeah.
is a challenge. Yeah, definitely a challenge for certain people with dyslexia. Definitely struggle with that. I can relate to that as well, for sure. What advice would you have for students that are maybe trying to advocate for themselves and getting accommodations or using assisted technology in the classroom where they may feel a little bit kind of like you did with the book and covering it up, but like a little bit different? What advice would you have for them now that you've kind of, as you've experienced this growth through dyslexia?
So people don't know this about me. People I know do. Like I have a very hard time asking for help. So
Mm.
like, because it's really hard for me to like basically push down my dignity and go up and be like I need help with this and so that's just hard for me to do. So I personally struggle with it. But if you guys are like that, and you have a hard time asking for help, don't just not do that. And it's because you have to ask for what you need, even if you can't or you have struggled talking in front of people or you really just don't know. You have to ask for your help, or else you're gonna get nowhere. Even it doesn't make you being different like that doesn't matter. It's just your own way of thinking. So if you need help, ask for it.
And was there a turning point where you kind of came to that realization where you could switch on to asking help, or do you still struggle with it today?
Well, I still struggle with it, but
Okay.
I transferred schools in fourth grade because, as I said, it just wasn't working for me at my old school. I had tutoring then that was really helping me, but I just still needed a different change. So I transferred to St. Pius, and there was a one-on-one learning specialist who I got to spend a lot of time with, and she was amazing, and she really helped me. So I guess when I didn't actually have to ask, just them to be there if I needed anything, it was much easier than having to go up and based out of my own time and just do that. They were just always there. She was there, and it was fantastic. So I guess
Wow.
when I was able to have someone there to help me.
Being in the right environment seems to be a big impact on students, especially it sounds like in your case as well, just having that support system.
Yeah.
I want to transition this conversation because you've had some unique opportunities with dyslexia and having some conversations. Can you talk about maybe your dialogue with Hammer and
Yeah.
what some of that has led to?
So, at when we lit up the roller coaster this year at Oaks Park, um, in Portland, I got to talk to Mr. Hammer, who works in the film industry, and it was kind of amazing to work with him because I'm a movie fan. I just love movies and like other stuff like that. So it was really cool because I got to talk to him about how it works and how the cameras and all that. And it was just nice to meet someone um, who was able to be really successful who also had dyslexia and used dyslexia to his advantage. And it was awesome, honestly, listening to him speak about it.
So, for those that might not know, Hammer works on a large number of movie productions, big
Yeah,
into Spider-Man, and uses special cameras so that you can get the the angles and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think one thing that's unique about Hammer that I think is important for the audience to know is he's learned how to communicate language through pulley systems, essentially, and that's what makes his journey so cool. And I think connecting with our students and like yourself on the panel, I think it's just so important. So I'm really glad you got that opportunity.
Yeah.
What are your hobbies? What do you enjoy doing? Where and how have you found strengths with your dyslexia?
Yeah, I think I have. I mean, my, first off, my hobbies, I like to act a lot. I've been in a few school plays, and I just love acting. It's really fun. Another one of my hobbies, I love to read. That may seem a little bit shocking because I have dyslexia, but like my reading level right now is high schoolers, and it used to be way below grade level a few years ago. So I love to read. I love to write, and I
Wow.
dyslexia, like I'm able to understand. I think in metaphors and pictures. I'm not the best
Okay.
at this, but I'm able to write them, and I think that is able to help me.
So are you like seeing pictures in your mind as you're kind of putting a story together? Is that how it works
Yeah,
or
yeah,
okay. Uh it sounds like you and Hammer are like on similar wavelengths of like how you might be
yeah.
uh tacking. Danielle on the line asks, what are you looking forward to in studying as a career path?
I don't. I mean, there's always like the fantasies, like maybe an author, maybe an actor. I don't really know exactly because right now I'm still have a lot in front of me, but that's a good question, and I'm asking it to myself too.
Well, I think it's good. I think it's good that you're dabbling in a lot of things and that you're just trying to find where it all fits together. So keep exploring. I challenge that, and I know Danielle would totally agree with that. Uh, uh, what so are you when you talk about dyslexia as do you see dyslexia as a strength for you or do you see it as still a challenge?
I honestly like I see it as both. Both is um it's you have to be. I've never been without dyslexia. I mean, obviously. So it's um, sometimes in school, like I said, it's very difficult for me to be different or have to ask for extended time or ask for another thing I get to do is get copies of like all the notes sent to me. So that's just another thing. If I have to
Nice.
ask for that, it's hard for me. But then also, like if I'm out playing basketball or something, I can easily visualize all the plays and stuff, and I know what to do. Or like when I'm doing an actual play, I can I know what the character is and exactly what they're like. And I don't know if that's just connecting as a person through dyslexia or something. But yeah.
Um, it's interesting that you said characters because Jane on the line is asking about your passion for Disneyland, and can you talk a little bit about that?
Sorry, what?
Yeah, Jane on the line. I was saying it's interesting that you were talking about characters because Jane on the line was asking about your passion about Disneyland, and could you talk a little bit about that?
So the first person I found out, this is sort of idolized, kind of Walt Disney. He had dyslexia. And so dyslexia. Disneyland is amazing. It's a phenomenal place. So creative, so awesome. The people there, it's just great, and I love it there. So to know that Walt Disney created that, to create something out of nothing, is pretty eye opening because he has dyslexia, and it's
Oh,
just like he's out there. Everybody knows Walt Disney, and it's just yeah,
that's really cool, and I think it's good information to share with the audience that there's these people out here with dyslexia that are doing amazing things.
yeah.
You know, in looking at your growth with dyslexia, do you talk about it with your friends? That's a question on the line from Danielle.
Um, some of my friends at school they do have dyslexia. I mean, some of the ones I'm slightly closer to they do have dyslexia. I mean, I don't take Spanish class. I go to the learning specialist instead. And I guess I joke around with my friends. I'm like, oh, I studied for 8 hours on that test, and then like some of my friends are like, what? How did you do that? I'm like, I don't take Spanish. So they laugh, you know. Like it's. I guess I do. but
Yeah.
it's not very hard for me anymore because at this point I know that they won't judge me and they'll like me for who I am. So, and that's part of it. Judge me for my abilities and not my disabilities. And dyslexia is both. So.
Wise words for sure. And I think it's great that you're acknowledging that for the people on the line, especially the students that are following you. What advice do you have for the world? I'm going to leave you with the last word of this show. Like, what advice do you have for the world when it comes to dyslexia, or what would you like people to know, be it educators, parents, or students?
I have two pieces of advice. So the message I like to give is my seventh grade teacher in social studies. We had not done very well on the quiz, and he's very strict, and he had stood up to the class and went, "None of you, pretty much almost none of you, have ever had a challenge in something, had to fall down and scrape the ground and have to climb back up. None of you had to do that." And he went on and on about that. And after class, I was feeling a little bit frustrated because I'm like, I feel that I've done that. And I talked to him about it, and he's like, "Well, not you. You don't give up on yourself. You have done amazing here, and you're going to continue to. This will be great in life. This challenge you've had, you've been able to overcome it." So what I'd like to give to the people out there is don't give up on yourself. You're going to make it.
I love that. Wow, that is powerful. And what a way to end. I want to just say thanks for taking the time to talk to us on a Monday night. And are you starting school? Are you in online classes?
We don't know yet. They're deciding
Okay.
if we're going to go or if we're not. But yeah.
Well, we wish you the best with that. Has online been a challenge for you, or are you enjoying it?
I mean, it's hard because you don't get one-on-one time with the teachers as much. You can do office hours, and it's kind of awkward and weird, or it's hard sometimes.
Mm.
But it's just a whole bunch of work. We're not really learning as much.
Yeah, more doing.
Yeah. Oh,
Well, hey, oh, go ahead.
the second thing, I just saw that Jane asked a question. The second thing I wanted to say was, as I said, I love characters and different universes like movies and books. And the second thing that I have to put is Rick Riordan. He wrote the Percy Jackson series. If you haven't read them, they're amazing. They're one of my first book series I actually read and got me into reading. Um, so he made almost all the characters dyslexic. And there's a quote from him that I like to read, if that would be okay.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Please.
So he said this at like a conference or something. Dyslexic kids are creative, outside the box thinkers. They have to be because they don't see or solve problems the way other kids do. In school, unfortunately, they're written off as lazy, unmotivated, rude, or even stupid. They aren't. Making Percy dyslexic was my way of honoring the potential of all kids I've known under those conditions. It's not a bad thing to be different. Sometimes it's a mark of being very, very talented. Yeah.
That is brilliant and well read. That is awesome and a great way to close it out tonight. Thank you so much for your time. And give your puppy away for us. That's so cool that you have a new addition to your family.
Yeah, it will.
Take care.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.